Cool. Live stream is started. I just want to make sure the volume is down so this thing does not echo. Sweet. All right, so we are ready to go. Let's get the recording started. To the cloud. Beautiful. All right, ladies and gents, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. I'll minimize my video for a moment. All right, we're gonna get to our poem, our deepest fear. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of the Most High God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. And it's not just in some of us, it is in each and every one of us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Welcome back, guys, to our Mindset Monday. Yes, I will get into our affirmations. If you see one on the screen, feel free to type it into the chat. I will see it and we can rock that one out as well. So the first one, number 5, right here. All that is mine by divine right is now released and reaches me in great avalanches of abundance, under grace in miraculous ways. All that is mine by divine right is now released and reaches me in great avalanches of abundance, under grace in miraculous ways. All that is mine by divine right is now released and reaches me in great avalanches of abundance, under grace in miraculous ways. All right, we're gonna keep rocking. I don't know if anyone mentioned in the chat. Nope, I don't see any. So we're gonna keep going to another one of mine, which is a favorite. Gotta love these ads. These ads are persistent. My ships come in over a calm sea, and that which I desire now comes unto me. You're not gonna see this one on the screen. My ships come in over a calm sea, and that which I desire now comes unto me. My ships come in over a calm sea, and that which I desire now comes unto me. Third time. My ships come in over a calm sea, and that which I desire now comes unto me. Number 17. Cool. Both of you guys want number 17. All right, one more time. My ships come in over a calm sea, and that which I desire now comes unto me. Cool. I like this one too. I am harmonious, poised, and magnetic, and I now draw to myself my own. I'm going to shift that one a little bit, right? I am harmonious, I am poised, and I am intensely magnetic. And I now draw to myself that which is mine by divine right. I am harmonious. I am poised and I am magnetic. And I now draw to myself that which is mine by divine right. One more time, guys. I am harmonious. I am poised and I am magnetic. And I now draw to myself that which is mine by divine right. And I want you guys to see something as we jump right into the educational portion of the call. And I'm going to pull this up here. We're going to shift a little bit. So we've been talking about mastery, right? We're going to shift for this session, then we'll jump back to it on the next one. And I actually thought about this at the end of the last call. You know, I want to shift a little bit from mastery and touch on something else. So I feel like it's going to add to it. So we're going to get to it. And this has everything to do with what we just did when it comes to our affirmations. And there is, I want you guys to see this because I could tell you, but I feel like when you see it, it's going to make even more of an impact. All right, I think this is it. It's talking about the power of the mind, right, versus the power of the heart. And how that affects what we do, right? How that affects how we feel, how that affects our success, right? And how it affects our state of mind. So that's what I want to bring up. And there's a specific one that I want you guys to see because there's a few of these like articles, what have you, but there's one that specifically talks about both of these. And I want to make sure that I have the right one. And I had it saved here, but it's all good. We're gonna find it. All right. Okay, here we go. All right, this is not exactly the one that I want, but it is going to give us some of what I'm looking for. All right, I'm pausing the recording for a moment because I really want you guys to see this one. I'm seeing one now, but it has to do with the medical field, and I don't want the medical version of this. All right, here we go. All right, hopefully you guys can see my screen. Let me get the recording going again. All right, cool. So, okay, great. You guys can see the screen. So this is what I want us to check out, right? Because this has everything to do with the first portion of the call, right? Why we go through the reading, why we go through the affirmations at the beginning of the call, because it all means something, right? It all gets us ready for what we're about to hear, we're about to receive. The heart over the brain, the intelligence of the heart, and the power it holds over the brain. So let's go to this science part of it. All right. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna read through some of this for you guys. The intelligence of the heart and the brain and the power it holds over the brain. Let me adjust this light too. Every person had an experience of their heart beating faster while they ride their first bike, or feeling that their hearts are crushed after their pet died. Sometimes it makes us wonder, is our heart responsible for those euphoric or heart-wrenching experiences besides it just plainly pumping blood inside of our body? Does our heart deserve more credit besides belittling it, making it a symbol of weakness for the emotional people who's not good at making choices? We're going to pause it right there. Cool. Now it's time to debunk the genius of the heart and the power it holds over the brain. So, connection of the heart and mind. In 1985, Benjamin Nadelson described a new area called neurocardiology. It examines the relationship between the cardiac and independent structures in the pathological state. Between the heart and the mind, there are many complex and dynamic reflex control networks, right? Or neural pathways, right? Modern neuroimaging data presents the complex set of neuroimagery interactions called the neurocardial axis, right? The neurocardial axis. I'm gonna throw this into the chat, right? This is what we're talking about right here. Neurocardial axis. Boom. It comprises the anterior cingulate cortex, the prefrontal cortex, and the abdulum oblongata, a region connected to the other areas involved in autonomic control. In the age of invention in the field of medical research, breakthrough suggests that the heart influences the brain a lot more than we thought. Boom. That is the part that I wanted you guys to see. I'm going to skip to this. So you should see it in a moment. There we go. The brain, or it calls the little brain, with 5,000 times greater electromagnetic fields. All right, so here we are. The heart has 40,000 sensory neurons sending information to the brain. You hear that? 40,000 sensory neurons sending information to the brain. The heart can make an independent decision bypassing the cerebral cortex of the brain. You got to hear this, right? Because this is why the affirmations make a difference. It's not mental exercise, right? When we're saying these affirmations, it's not mental exercise. We understand the truth, right? That as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So the question is, when it comes to the success, when it comes to what we're working on, when it comes to what we're moving towards, when it comes to these things, what are we actually thinking or feeling inside of our heart? Because that is going to make the greatest difference. So the heart can make an independent decision, bypassing the cerebral cortex of the brain. So check this out. When you talk to somebody about business, they say, I'm going to think about it. Well, you just learned information right here that shows that they don't need to activate their mind in a decision. They can, right? They can. But have you ever bought something because it just feels good when you put it on? A suit jacket is like, oh man, I gotta buy this, right? You ever got into a car that says, man, listen, my husband, my wife is gonna be mad when I pull up, but I'm buying this. right? Have you ever said that? You bought something in the store, like, yo, these shoes, man, these new sneakers, these new Jordans, man, I'm buying them. Or when it comes to the space rent, like, listen, I know my wife wants to go on a trip, but I'm about to put $2,000 on this cryptocurrency, right? Then a week later, it turns into 5,000, right? 2,000 turns into 5,000, right? Why? It's just telling us right here, right? The heart can make an independent decision bypassing the cerebral cortex of the brain, which is mean your mind is nowhere in the decision-making process. We're gonna keep going, right? Neurons inside the heart send more information to the brain daily via the nervous system connections, right? So what is that saying? Or I'm gonna throw this in the chat, right? Neurons inside the heart send more information. It sends more information to the brain daily via the nervous system connections. So how we feel is everything, right? Hormones created within the heart, the biomechanical info through our blood pressure waves and electromagnetic fields. This is all going on within the heart, right? All this stuff is going on within the heart. Here we go. An astounding with an astounding electromagnetic field is 5,000 times more powerful than what the brain is producing, and 60 times greater electro field more than the activities of the brain. Well, clearly they didn't write this the best, but what they're saying is the heart is 5,000 more times. The electromagnetic field of the heart is 5,000 more times powerful than the brain, right? And producing 60 times greater the electrical field, right? So there's an electromagnetic field and an electrical field that are emitting from our heart and from our mind. But the heart is 5,000 more times powerful than the mind, right? So what does that have to do with the affirmations we say at the beginning of the call, right? Well, if we're saying that my ships come in over a calm sea, it's not a mental thing. You're not thinking in my mind, you know what? Okay, my ship, which is my success, which are the trades, which is the business, which is whatever it is I'm looking to bring into my reality, my ships come in over a calm sea. So it's not a mental thing. You could imagine a ship coming in, right, over the sea, carrying the goods you're looking for, carrying the car, carrying the house, carrying 6-7 figures of success, whatever it is, 8 figures of success, whatever it is, you could see it coming over the ocean. But typically in that moment, you're feeling it, right? Your eyes are closed and you're feeling it, you're embracing it inside of your being, right? And that thing is producing an electromagnetic field based upon what it is that you're saying, based upon what it is you're vibrating. And sometimes you can say, if you're someone on the call, whether you're on the call right here or you're on YouTube or you're listening to this call after the fact, and you're like, well, you know what? I don't believe in vibration. Check this out. I don't want you to believe in vibration, but check this out. Put your hand over your throat. Now say your name. John, Keisha, Adam. What do you feel? What do you feel? Somebody type in the chat for me. Hit your hand over your throat and then just say your name. Or say, my name is whatever, right? My name is Keith. Or my nickname, right? My name is AK. What do you feel? No, what do you feel? Not like, don't put my name in the chat. What do you feel? I want to know what you feel. Your hand is touching your chat. Exactly, a vibration. You're feeling a vibration. So you may not understand that there's a vibration every time we say something, exactly, I feel bass, I feel vibration. Exactly, because that's the truth. And the truth will set you free, right? So we understand that. So you may not understand the law of vibration, but in this point, because you felt it, that just taught you something, right? You learned something, whether it was reaffirmed or something you just learned because you're doing it. But there's a vibration. So when we speak something, we vibrate something, right? You ever been around somebody who said, you know, I don't like their vibe. I don't like the vibe they're putting out. There's a vibration, right? And we're seeing right here, the heart, which is 5,000 times more powerful than the brain, 60 more times in the electrical field. So it's probably something in their heart that's not jiving with what's going on in your heart, in your mind, in your area, your vibe, right? So that's what it's saying. Now, when it comes to the words that we're saying, when we say these affirmations, I am the success that I desire, right? That creates a certain vibration in your heart. You begin to believe it, right? So right here in your core, in your heart, you believe it. So when you believe it, it starts to take on a different life. It takes on a different energy or a different vibration. Because when I say it, I am the success that I desire. It's going through my whole body, right? It's going through your whole body. Your whole body is vibrating when you say it. When your heart believes it, which is the most important thing, that's when those things come into line, right? That's when those things come into line. And it's telling us here from a scientific perspective, right? Not even just from a metaphysical perspective or from a higher thought perspective, but it's telling us the science behind it so you can put it together, right? I'm gonna throw this whole thing in the chat so you guys have this too. So the heart is the most powerful generator of electromagnetic energy in the human body, producing the largest rhythmic magnetic field of any of the body's organs. The heart's electric field is 60 times greater in amplitude than the electroactivity generated by the brain, right? So we can think our way and create success. We can think our way and create the situations we want to create in our life. However, when we feel it, right? We feel it from our core, we feel it inside. It's going to bring those results a lot sooner, a lot quicker, right? And especially in the space that we're in when it comes to building a business, when it comes to investing into the market, those results are going to come quickly, right? Check this out, right? Here's one thing that I say, and I promise you, you do this for a week, you're going to come up with something that you did not have before. Something is going to be spotlighted in terms of investing, right? Because we're talking about investing right now than it has before. So this is one thing that I say. I say that I'm always in the right place at the right time. When it comes to investing, when it comes to cryptocurrencies, I'm always in the right place at the right time. I identify cryptocurrencies that are going to grow 1,000%. I'm always in the right place at the right time. And I identify cryptocurrencies that are going to grow by 1,000%. Now you're like, man, that's a pretty strong statement, Keith. It is. But I've seen it, right? I've experienced it. Of course, you do your research, right? You lock into Curtis Cobain, you lock into the educators, you lock into the system that we have. But then at the same time, what are you saying, right? Because it says, and as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So if you're thinking something in your heart, right, that means you're vibrating. You're vibrating. We just spoke, right? We understand that when we're speaking something, we're vibrating. It connects to our heart. So if our heart is saying something, we're vibrating something, it's coming out of our mouth as well. We're vibrating it. But that's something that I say, right? But I guarantee you do it for 7 days straight. But you got to believe it, right? And I'm not saying once a day. I'm saying, hey, once in the morning when you wake up, once before you go to sleep, at least 2 times a day. Once when you first wake up, literally work when you first wake up, right? Meaning that if you have a significant other, you wake up and you're saying it, boom. Before you say, hey, good morning, honey, say it, right? That can be the second thing you say, right? That could be the second thing you say. But we're working on this vibration, right? The person who you're next to, they know that you love them, right? Or they maybe sleep when you wake up. So then it's even better, right? Then you don't got to feel bad about, oh man, I should probably say this to my husband or wife. Yeah, you should. But say this first, right? Because we're focusing the mind and we're aligning the heart and mind so we can get to the desired goal sooner than later, right? We want to get there on the most efficient path, which is a straight line, right? We can go to the side and we can curve and get there. We can go down and we can come on up. We can, you know what I mean? We can zigzag, but we want to take the most efficient route and get there. So I encourage you, test it out, right? Just do it for the next 7 days. And then we jump on this call again next Monday. You can say, hey, listen, this is what happened. Awesome. All right, so we're going to keep going. So it says, I'm gonna read the last part and then go back. So the heart's electrical field is 60 times greater in amplitude than the electrical activity generated by the brain. This field, measured in the form of an electrocardiogram, an ECG, can be detected several feet away from the body. It's amazing, isn't it? It can be detected several feet away from the body. Typically, it's 6 feet, right? And we've all heard a lot of stuff about 6 feet recently. Whatever you want to think about it, right? I have my own thoughts and opinions, but it's telling us right here, right? It's telling us truth, right? This field, the ECG, the electrocardiogram, can be detected several feet from the body in all directions. So that's all the way around, all 360 degrees around you, right? Over here, over there, over here, and then in the back, right? Boom, back there, all around you. And it's typically 6 feet. It's typically 6 feet. So using the squid based on magnetometers, that's how they can detect it, right? So this is prompted by our finding that the cardiac field is modulated by different emotional states described in the previous section, right? The cardio field is modulated or changed, right? Modulated, right? It's changed by different emotional states. So depending on your emotional state is going to depend on the strength of that field. So it says, we performed several studies to investigate the possibility that the electromagnetic field generated by the heart may transmit information that can be received by others. As a man, thinketh in his heart, so is he, right? It says also, how can two walk together unless they agree? They talk about the law of attraction, which is really the law of vibration, right? We have to vibrate on a certain level to attract the things into our life that match the vibration, matches the wave. It says it right here, right? We performed several studies. You don't got to believe my words. They perform the studies, right? It just confirms it, right? Science confirms all this stuff. So we performed several studies to investigate the possibility that the electromagnetic field generated by the heart may transmit information that can be received by others. And you understand when it comes to these science, until it is proven, they're always going to use words that sound like it kind of is or kind of isn't, like, right? Like the possibility, the heart may transmit. It just told you it transmitted, right? So if you read between the lines, you can understand the truth. They're saying may to cover their own integrity, cover their own ass, really, right? It's a possibility, and it may, and it can be received by others, right? Of course it can be received by others. That's how we're designed. That's why you said, I do or I do not like that person's vibe, right? Let me get a 555 in the chat if you've ever said that. If you've ever heard somebody say, you know what, I don't like that person's vibe. You're picking up on their energy, right? It's an excerpt from The Science of the Heart by Hearthman Institute. Research findings suggest that electromagnetic signals produced by the heart can affect others around us. That one person can change another's brain. Dude, this is, hold on, let me throw this into the chat. This stuff is powerful, man, because when you understand it and when you understand how we link this to trading, when you understand how we link this to building the business, when you understand how to link this to attract and to bring the things into your world that you desire, dude, it's life-changing. Like it is absolutely life-changing. And then see, for me, I'm a student, right? So what I do is like, you know what? I'm not going to believe what this person says. That's why I say, don't believe what I'm saying, but just go do it. And then when you get the results, then we can have a discussion about it, right? Then we can come back and have discourse. We can have the dialogue about it after you went out and you did it. You could believe my words. You're like, man, he's passionate. He seems like he knows what he's talking about. I do, right? But also go do it, right? So research findings suggest the electromagnetic signals produced by the heart can affect others around us. Here we go. One person, this is amazing, isn't it? One person can change another's brain waves, whichever one is most powerful, typically, right? Another's brain waves. The synchronization between the heart and mind is possible between two subjects, right? And you see that in relationships, right? We've seen that with a husband and wife. You see that between best friends. One person says, hey, I want to go get lunch, right? Hey, I want a cheesesteak for dinner, right? One person finishes the other person's sentences. Why? Because they're in that, what I call that synchronization, right? Synchronicity. They're in that space of synchronicity. And it shows how we affect other people. So what does that mean, right? When it comes to saying the affirmations, if you're vibrating on a certain level of success, you're going to affect other people around you, right? Others may want to go to that level of success and they say, oh man, listen, what you just said, I need more of that in my life. I need your phone number. I want to be connected to you. I love positive people who are emitting at a high level, a high vibration. Like, I need more of that in my life, right? And you have people on the other end. It's like, nah, man, I'm not really feeling that. Nah, I don't like that, dog. Like, I'm just going to grind out. I'm going to get this work done. Cool. That's awesome. Grind is going to get you tired, right? We want to operate on a level of abundance, right? And of course, we've been talking about mastery, so we're going to eventually tie this into mastery. But it all comes through practice, right? It all comes through, like I said, just don't hear me, go do it, right? When you go do it, it says, do the thing and you will have the power. I'm trying to remember who said it. I feel like it was like Socrates. I'll check it out. But do the thing and you will have the power, right? Because it's called gnosis, right? It's self-knowledge. You get self-knowledge when you go do the thing. If I say, hey, if the market comes to the 618, you take the trade, it's typically going to move from that area. That's a great idea. But until you do it, you don't receive power. You don't receive the knowledge, the information, right? They say knowledge is power. It's not until you do it, right? Until you apply it. If you go apply the knowledge, then it becomes power. But just sitting here in our head, just the knowledge itself, it's just information, right? It's just information. You know people just like I know people that say, oh man, if I had $10,000, man, I would have put that thing in them cryptocurrencies last year, and I would have been a millionaire sitting on some Bitcoin. I'd have been a millionaire sitting on all that Ethereum. Okay. So go get 10 grand right now and do it again. Oh man, Bitcoin, the time is over. Well, there's always something new coming to the marketplace, right? There's always something new. There's coins that have outperformed Bitcoin by like 3 times. We may not know about them, but they're out there, right? So that's just the difference in the people, right? We want to attract people who are going to vibrate at that level of success and abundance, not because it's all about money, but it's a vibrational thing, right? When you achieve, you typically feel better. If your significant other asks you to do something and it's within your power to do it, and you have the time to do it, you have the energy to do it, right? So there's no excuse. You have the time, you have the energy, you have the money, you have the resource, you have it all, and you don't do it. What's the conversation going to be like? Right? When you see them later on that day or later on in the week, what's the conversation going to be like, right? It's not going to be a positive conversation. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Because you had the power to do it, right? You wouldn't do that. That you don't want to be in that vibration, right? You want there to be a positive vibration, a higher vibration. You know what? Listen, this is what my significant other was looking for me to do. You know what? I'm going to come through. I'm going to deliver for that person, right? It could be the same thing for a business partner. It could be the same thing for a coworker, right? I'm going to deliver, right? Because I want to raise the vibration. I want their heart to emit love and abundance, right? And when you think about it from that perspective, I want that person's heart to emit love and vibration and abundance. I want them to emit success. So show up for them. Show up, right? Show up and introduce them to the plan. Show up and just bring the success. Hey, listen, honey, this is what I'm doing. I know you weren't really understanding, but look what I just brought. I made all this, right? I did this for us. Right? Same thing with your friends. Listen, man, I know you weren't understanding what we were doing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago, but look, man, I'm sitting on 10K right now, right? And again, past profits do not guarantee future rewards. We're always going to put out that disclaimer, but you're showing them something. You're raising their vibration, right? They're emitting from their heart at that moment in time. Whoa, yo, this is real. Like, you really did that? This is real. Like, yeah, it's real. I've been telling you it's real. But when you show up, you give them that opportunity, right? You give them opportunity to believe something greater. You and I already believe it. This is why we're here, right? We already believe it. But if you want to share it with others because you want to raise their vibration as well, this is part of the process, right? Do the thing and you will have the power. So I'm saying that because I want you guys to do it. I want you to experience it, because once you experience it, then nobody can take it away, right? Nobody can ever take it away once you experience it. So the synchronization can happen between the heart and mind of two subjects. It can happen to more, but they're just saying two subjects. In ancient traditions of mankind, the function of the heart has always been to encase intelligence and emotion, and most of all, to house the spirit or essence of a person. The heart encases intelligence and emotion and houses the spirit or essence of a person. Back to what James Allen said, right? And it's in the Bible, right? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. It's telling us right here through science. What did the ancient people know about the human heart that we are still trying to figure out? Right? These looks like these are ancient Chinese writings. What? Based on traditional Chinese medicine, the heart, or yin, is the emperor of all other energy systems. The function of the heart in TCM is almost similar to Western anatomical use of pumping blood throughout the body. But besides that, it is closely involved with mental and emotional processing. The most crucial role of the heart is that it is where the Shen, the spirit, resides. The most crucial role of the heart is where the Shen, the spirit, resides. So the spirit resides in the heart. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, right? I don't like their vibe. I don't like their energy. I don't like their spirit. Should be putting 2 and 2 together. Hopefully we're putting 2 and 2 together. And I'm going to post this in the chat too. So we have it. Boom. And I'm going to send the article too. So you guys can have the article, but I'm just sending these excerpts so you can have them too. Shen is known to be one of the 3 treasures of the body. And I love this. I remember reading this a while ago. Shen, spirit, is known as one of the 3 treasures of the body. It contains thought, emotions, and can able to process sensory information. It contains thoughts, it contains emotions, and it can be able to process sensory information, right? That means you can intuit things through your senses. Through seeing it, through feeling it, through tasting it, through all the senses, right? I don't want to keep saying the senses and say it one like 3 times, but through all the senses, right? Through all the senses, it can process sensory information. Thus, okay, this is going to break some paradigms right here. Thus, all illnesses from sensory disorders to mental to physical to a personality disorder or emotional imbalance are all, how many? Please throw it in the chat. All, A-L-L, stain lifter. That's all, right? All. All are because of the Shen inside the heart is weak or ungrounded. Sheesh. Sheesh, 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 sheesh. All of them, all diseases, all sicknesses. Well, it was COVID. Okay. All illness from sensory disorders to mental to physical to personality disorders or emotional imbalance are all because of the shin inside the heart is weak or ungrounded. This started when it says based on traditional Chinese medicine in the beginning, right? Talked about ancient Chinese medicine, right? Talking about what our ancestors, talking about what people knew way before we were born, right? So this information's been out there, right? And then fact check me, right? You can find it. I'm gonna send the article. I'm gonna throw the article in the chat so you have it, right? Their concept of the brain is not just the cerebrum. Now this is the thought, right? You hear that? Their concept of the brain is not just the cerebrum, not just up here. The brain function is spread over the 5 Zhang areas all over the body, maintaining each through extensive synergy between the 5 Zhang organs: the heart, the pericardium, the lungs, the liver, the spleen, and kidney. And here's an image of it too, right? If you want it. The seat of life force, Hudra, or the heart. And of course, you cannot read it because it is definitely in another language, unless you know that language. But I'll see what I can do as far as getting a something I can throw into our chat. The Ayurvedic man. Boom. All right. Here we go. The heart in Ayurveda is considered one of the most vital parts of the body, and it is one among the chimeriums. Embryologically, it came from the essence of the Rakthadhatu, which is the blood, and Kapha dosha, a type of life force, which controls muscle growth, body strength, stability, weight, and your immune system. The heart has been described as the inverted lotus. The Hrudaya is the seat of Udana, Vayana, and Pranavayu. It talks about energy, right? Sadhaka Pita. Let's see. It's the seat of that Avalambaka, Kapha, and Ohas. Udana is one of the 5 prana vayas in yoga, right? Yogic traditions. It is the upward moving breath that directs the flow of prana, right? From the lower to the higher dimension, right? From the lower part of your body, right, to the higher part of your body, is somebody raises it. It's the upward moving breath that directs the flow of prana from your lower to higher dimensions of consciousness, an ascending and powerful force, right? So, but you're seeing, right? We're not going to go through all these, but I will add this into the chat so you guys can go through the article. The point of what I'm saying is we looked at the Western tradition, our tradition. We looked at the Asian tradition. Now we're into the Ayurvedic tradition. We're talking about the yogis, right? It's in different systems. It's in different cultures. So if it's in every culture, it's in those cultures. So I guarantee you it's in other cultures. It's not just going to be something hidden to one culture, one group of people. You're going to see it in Egyptian culture, right? The Egyptians talk about it. I'll read this though. I'll read this part of it, right? So the Egyptians, the seat of intelligence, the Ib. The Ib, or the heart, was considered the organic motor of the body and as well as the seat of intelligence, a significant spiritual and religious emblem. The Egyptians came to believe that somehow the heart was always the origin of human wisdom rather than the brain. It makes you think, right? It's a play on words. All notions of physiology and disease were linked in the concept to the heart, and is through the heart that God speaks. Given ancient Egyptians people the wisdom of God and the will of God. It was thought that all parts of the body were connected by channels, metu, from the heart. Ancient Egyptians believed that to be healthy. The metu should be clear without blockage, right? No blockages in the blood, nothing blocking. If a channel is blocked, disease manifests. These pathways deliver not only blood, but also air, saliva, mucus, tears, nutrient, sperm, and even bodily waste. The brain's only real function was thought to be passing mucus to the nose, so it was discarded during mummification. Abe was regarded as one of the 8 parts of the body. The heart remains inside the mummy, maintained meticulously, undamaged, as well as other organs inside the canopic jars to assure eternal life. The hieroglyphs portraying the heart had been drawn relatively early, already in the very first dynasty, with all 8 vessels connected to it. Egyptian healers developed a unique concept of the cardiovascular physiology that lasted 30 centuries. 30 centuries, right? So this is way before anything that's going on in our current society, right? So hopefully it helps you to get an understanding of where I'm going with this and what I'm saying, right? Because the truth will set you free, right? We can listen to everything that's on the news, but the news are media outlets that are controlled, right? We have to get our information from the source. We got the information from understanding what our ancestors understood, right? From this culture and from the previous cultures, right? Because one culture is typically built upon the culture before it, right? It's the example. That's why you see a lot of stuff when it comes to our culture with law and the systems and government. When you look at the culture over there in Egypt, you look at the African culture, a lot of those things are being instituted or have been instituted here, because that's where they learned it from, right? That was the system. Again, so I'm saying all this to say, right, everything that we're seeing here in this article goes right back to the heart and the brain, right? And this is why we started this whole section, because we're talking about the importance of the heart versus the brain. You can think a lot of things, right? And Einstein said this the best, right? And this is one thing that I have found it to be true, absolutely believe it to be true. I'm going to pull it up right here. Albert Einstein. You know what? I think it actually was just coming up. There we go. On problem solving. Albert Einstein on problem solving. All right, here it is. This one right here. Come on, Albert, talk to us. Here we go. So right here, right? We cannot solve our own problems with the same thinking we used when we created them, right? What does that mean? What has gotten us into the current circumstances we're in? If it's a good situation, then we're doing the right thing, right? If it's not a beneficial situation, if it's not uplifting you, if it's not putting you in a higher vibration, if it's stressful, right? Then this is definitely directed to you, right? We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. What is he thinking? Albert Einstein is saying that that means you have to go above your rational mind. You have to tap into something else. When we're understanding what it is that we're talking about with the heart, right? When we're using affirmation, we're using something to affirm something into our reality, it's because we are putting it into our heart because we want to vibrate that thing, right? It has nothing to do with thinking, right? I was talking to somebody about this a little while ago, and I said, Albert Einstein said this, right? We cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking that we used when we created the problem. So that means we have to think outside of ourselves, right? We have to think outside the box. How do you think outside the box? How do you think outside the box, right? Check this out. If I drew a box, let me get this off the screen. All right, boom, so back here, right? If I drew a box, well, let me draw. I don't think it's gonna let me draw. Nope, it won't let me draw. I haven't figured out how to draw. I'll figure it out one day, right? But If I drew a box around my face, right? If I drew a box around my face, I'm trying to think outside the box, right? Or I'll make it more specific, right? My mind is the box, right? Boom. We'll say this is the mind. Of course, not my whole mind, but boom, this is the box. The mind is the box. If we're going to think outside of the box, if we're using the same level of thinking, how do we think outside of the box? Well, at that level, you're not thinking outside the box, right? You are trying to force something, right? Well, why do you say you're trying to force it, Keith? Well, because if it was your mind that created it, how is your mind going to fix it, right? And that's what Albert Einstein is saying. How are we going to change it with the same level of thinking? You can't change it with the same level of thinking. We have to access something different, right? Whether it's another thought from another person, right? Somebody maybe who has gone through what it is that you've gone through. If it's what we just said, right? The information of understanding that the heart is greater than the mind. So that means if I have a new idea, if I have a new concept, if I have something new, right? Like it says, my ships come in over a calm sea. I'm always in the right place at the right time, right? If I put that into my heart and it emits into the universe, guess what? That is already thinking outside the box. Why? Because that level is above the mind, right? We just read it in the article, right? Through the science, it just told us that the heart is 5 times more powerful electromagnetically than the mind. Electrically, it is 60 times more powerful than the mind. So if that's the case, if we focus on what it is we're putting into our heart, then our results are going to be different, right? When it comes to what we're working on, when it comes to this cryptocurrencies, when it comes to building the business, when it comes to mastering the strategies that we have, understand, if you're only using your mind to grasp these things, then it's going to be a lot harder. It's going to be a lot more challenging to grasp it if you're trying to use just the mind, the cerebrum, right? It's not cerebral, right? Success is not just cerebral, right? There's a matter of the heart that is a big part of it. And if we don't ever get into the heart of the matter, right? You ever heard someone say that? Get to the heart of the matter. It means get to the root of the matter. If we don't ever get to the root, if we don't ever get to the heart of it, if we don't put our heart into what it is that we are doing, then our success is going to be capped, right? Boom, like here, it's going to be capped. It's not going to be where we want it to be all the way up here. It's going to be capped. Why is it going to be capped? Because we're only using a small portion of what it is that we have, right? The mind is a tool that we have. The heart is a tool that we have. So we want to use it, right, to the best of our ability. So if we find ourselves in a place like Albert Einstein said, right, the thinking that caused the problem is not going to be the thinking to get you out of the problem, right? Because it's the same thing, right? The thinking that got me into this problem here will be the thinking to get me out of the problem here, right? It's the same thinking. It can't get you out, right? It's not going to get you to the next level, right? The thinking that got me to this level is not going to be the thinking that is going to take me to the next level. And sometimes that thinking, like I said, could be another person, or it could just be that you feel something different, right? You've gotten yourself to a place that say, you know what? I feel successful, right? And you look at Think and Grow Rich, you look at a lot of text, a lot of audios, a lot of information that says, through auto suggestion, through saying the same things over and over, because this is where affirmations come from, right? It's auto suggestion. You're automatically suggesting something to your subconscious mind. And typically, of course, the subconscious mind is in the mind, right? The brain. But they say to color the subconscious mind, it's based upon what you feel in your heart. So again, we're getting back to the same thing, right? We're getting back to that same place to where we want to override the mind, because the mind is great in its own right, but it says the heart is 5,000 times more powerful. electromagnetically, right? Because we're looking to attract the success that we desire. We want to tap into our heart, right? We want to tap into the greater aspect of who it is that we are. So before we jump into the charts, you want to say something that's going to put you in a state of mind that's going to bring you into a vibration, into a mindset of success, right? But you gotta feel it, right? When you feel it, then that makes the difference. When you feel it, that makes the entire difference when you feel it. So that's the thing that we really want to focus on, right? We don't want to just focus on the mental aspect of it, because again, we're working off the same thing, that the level of thinking that got us into the situation or the problem, what have you, is not going to be the level of thinking that's going to get us to fix the situation or get us out of the situation. So we want to access something else, right? We want to think outside of the box, right? Remember, this is the box right here. Your mind is the box, and we want to think outside the box. And when we do that, right, and we understand through what we saw right there with science, right, with the heart being 5,000 more times powerful, we access it through that vessel. And that's going to take us to the next level every single time. But that's it, guys. Appreciate you for being here. Much love to you guys. Much success to you guys. You already know you could have been anywhere else in the world. That you were here with us.
But you're here with us.
But you're here with us,
guys. Absolutely, ladies and gents. Appreciate you guys out there on YouTube as well. Or if you guys listening to the recording, much love to you guys. Much success to you guys. Our recording is officially over. We will be back next week, though, for our next Mindset Monday. We'll be jumping right back into the mastery. But I really wanted to touch on this, right? Because this is going to compound everything that we have been doing the whole time, and the things that we're going to continue to do in the future. So much love to you guys. Much success to you guys. You have a great night. God bless. And I will see you guys at the top, because the bottom is way too crowded. Have a great night, guys.
Gentlemen, have a great night.
have a great night, y'all.
Boom, done. Hi, Nora. What's going on? Just finishing my quarter. Excellent. Why do you sound tired?